only
Do
explanation.
we have the mic check or we could just go?
We're good.
Oh, okay. So when you were asking about the orange vest and how
Yeah.
it looks on camera, you do a lot of things on camera. So do you notice, do men feel the same way? Like, I feel like I look so different on camera. Or do you not even feel that at all?
No, I totally feel that way.
Because I'll be like, for example, even my makeup or like I'll
Yeah.
think I look mad good in person. And then I watch the episode the next day. I'm like, who the fuck is that? Like, I look so weird.
Well,
like,
you know, everything is angles is what I like realized because like I'll have a fresh fit, right? But like the cameras like at the brown bag office, like the office has super weird dimensions. So like the way they have to like pan in and like the cameras like can only be so far back, like it gets a really weird angle of me. I always feel like it's like pointed at like my stomach and like my legs, and
yo, I
sometimes
feel that.
my thighs look thick. Like I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, you know, it's weird. Like
Not the thick thighs.
I know. I'd be like, what the fuck? I didn't
And
know.
then in summer, do you wear like the short shorts?
I don't wear shorts like on camera.
I can't
at
wear
all.
certain things. Yeah, I can't wear certain things on camera. I can't wear like dresses.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough out here. But nice to know that I'm not the only one that feels that way.
Yeah. And then the fucked up part is that like it's forever. You know?
That's
like
true.
that content is forever. And then sometimes I'll have like a dope something and I'm like, damn, like my hat was a little to the side. I feel stupid.
But can
now.
I get a little, not deep, but a little sentimental? So
Yeah.
sometimes, like, when I first started recording a lot of podcasts and stuff like that and being more on camera, that would bother me a lot. I'm not like a super insecure person, but I would have things where I would watch it, and you know how we're our own worst critics?
Yeah.
So I would say like, damn, my hair looks ugly here or something. And then I remember feeling that way, like, oh, I look a little chubby here or something. And then like a year later, I'll watch it back and I look completely fine, like in that first video. So I just think it's like the way that we see ourselves is so like, it's so funny. Like, and I'll watch a video of you where you think like, yo, oh my God, my outfit looks bad. I'll watch it and be like, you look great. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel you. I have seen like old content of mine that I didn't like at the time, and then I look back and be like, oh, it wasn't
Like,
that
right,
bad.
it was great, yeah.
We are our worst critics. But welcome to the oh shit, I just smacked myself in the face with the mic. That's crazy. Welcome to the Rosecrans Vic podcast. Conversations with comrades, compadres, and comadres. You know, that's like a Spanish term that we use. Yeah, and we have a special guest, Regina Cho.
Hello, I'm so honored.
I'm always tempted to say Regina Cho. And
I
I'm
mean, I don't
so
mind.
sorry. Like
No,
it always
why are you sorry? No.
in my mind it's like Regina Cho, but like that's not your
No,
name.
that's fine. That's like, I can't be mad at people for saying that because it's like, that's my handle across,
Yeah.
that's my handle across everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's just Regina Cho, which is my government name.
Yeah.
It's just my full name, but with like an underscore in between the I and the A. So it's like Regi Nacho. I thought that shit was cute, but now it's stuck for like a decade later, so I just have to live with it.
Yeah.
I don't even like nachos for real.
You know what's even crazier? Because we email all the time. So like your Gmail is like your middle name, right?
The SY.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't put my Gmail out there. So
my bad.
this is an exclusive for just the Rosecrans Vic podcast listeners. So I have a few letters in the middle of my my Gmail is not just reginacho@gmail.com. There's something in the middle. The middle letters represent my Korean name. So I just added that in there so people can't just like find me mad easy.
That makes sense.
So yeah.
But it's like when you read it really fast, it's like Regina Psycho, and that's like
That's bad.
I know.
I noticed that. I think you were the first one to point that out to me.
I was like, wait a minute.
I'm not psycho. I could be a little crazy,
know.
but I don't
And
think I would not make that the brand.
No,
like,
of course not. And that's why I'm like, this doesn't even fit. Like that's not what I think of when I think of Regi at all. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, I really wanted to, sit down. So I feel like, we communicate pretty often and stuff. We met like, where do we met at a festival,
I was
right?
gonna bring this up. I was waiting
Yeah.
so me and you have followed each other for mad long, like years, probably like 5 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
And just always genuinely support each other's content, the journey or whatever. But we didn't meet until Day in Vegas, 2019.
Facts.
That was the peak of my outsideness. I was outside. Like I was in my little outfit. I was outside. I was partying all the time.
Yeah.
Why are you saying like
No, because
that?
I'm thinking like you had posted like you were there for like a week. You were in Vegas for like a while, right? Maybe not a week.
No,
but
it was
like...
just the few days I was there.
Oh, okay.
That the festival was. And then I remember like my friends and I, we were like lit. It was at night. And then I just hear Regi Nacho. And then I look and I was like, what the fuck? Like, and then it was you. That's when we first met.
I was with the homie BG and I randomly ran into him because I was with like Callie and like other group of homies. And then I randomly ran into BG, and then he was like, "Isn't that girl Regi from Twitter?" And I'm like, and there's
Not
so
Regi
many
from Twitter.
there's so many people in the fucking like festival, and then I'm like, "Oh shit, it is." And then it's like that one split second where like you could say something and you guys can see each other, or it's like just a misconnection. Like, I think I saw you. I might have seen you earlier. You know what I'm saying? So then I said, "What's up?" You know, I think I was pretty lit too. It's Vegas, you know.
But then that's the first time we met, and then ever since then we just been. But we've, as you said, we kept in contact, communicate pretty frequently about like business things and just life, Twitter.
Yeah.
But like we haven't like sat down and had a real conversation. I feel like we haven't out of like the 5 years that we know each other, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was important. I'm like, okay, I'm coming to New York. I got to tap in with my good peoples. Big fan of the Need to Know podcast as well. And I just wanted to know, like, you know, you get to like talking to people, but you don't really get to know like the full story, especially when they have their own things going on. You're usually the one interviewing people as well. So, you know, we don't get too deep into your story. So I'm just curious, like, who is Regi? How'd you start? You know, where'd you grow up originally?
So I'm born and raised in Jersey. A lot of people who don't know me swear that I've either said I'm from New York or that I live here. Like, I've never said that. I'm born and raised in Jersey, and it's always been a thing. Like, all my friends know if there's any mention of Jersey, everybody sends me that shit because I'm like the representative. I don't know. Because most of my friends are from New York.
Yeah.
So, and I'm Korean American, very proud. And I guess I'll just start. I won't give you like the whole life story. I guess I'll just start from like my career and shit.
Yeah.
So in high school, like I would do like the whole blog, you know, I read some of those posts now and they're absolutely terrible, but it's okay. I would do like album reviews, shit like that. And then I would unapologetically like tweet all of them out and people started like liking them. It got like, I remember when one got like 500 views, I thought that was the best accomplishment of my entire life. And so that was in high school. I had a love for that. And then I went to Syracuse University and I was just looking on campus for things like that. Like I've always wanted to be a hip hop, R&B music journalist, but I didn't know how. And then on campus, I just naturally kept looking for the music clubs, the magazines, and none of them were lit at all. They were all kind of like lame. No offense. But and then my friends and I started the only hip hop magazine on Syracuse University's campus called Mixtape Magazine. It was a bunch of us. Started sophomore year. It's still going today. And then during, I think, sophomore year, I got an internship at The Source magazine, the longest running hip hop magazine. I was so hungry. Like, I remember pulling up to the office with like my little resume printed. I literally pulled up, did an interview, kept following up, like calling them, being like, "Hey, have you guys filled this position yet?" That was my first like actual internship. The year later, I had an internship at Billboard, and then just kept like, and then the year after that, I had a summer internship at Genius. Like peak Genius era, it was like the best summer of my life. Like 2018, like when they were doing like the verifies, all that, it was amazing. They had like parties. And then so I've never really had a long-term like staff role anywhere. I just kind of like kept all the relationships from my internships and kind of like stuck out because even after my internship ended, I would hit up my editor. I would be like, "Hey, do you need any help?" And I'll do like things on the side, like transcriptions, all that, and then kept like really good relationships. Then they started giving me like really big assignments and stuff like that, and everything snowballed, and here I am.
That's fire. You ran through it super quick, but I know there's like so
was
much
that
more
quick?
to it.
Sorry, because
No,
I didn't
it's
want to
cool.
like sit here. And...
No, I feel you. I feel you. But I mean, even going to like Syracuse is interesting because as somebody who's like really into journalism and stuff, I know that's like the journalism school. So
I didn't know that until like I got there because I got in there for communications and business, like a dual major, one of like the hardest programs. Like you have to do like 170 credits type shit, but then I wound up dropping that shit. But then as I was there, I slowly started to, you know, drop the business side of it more and pick up writing classes and journalism classes, media classes. So when I was there, I knew about the Newhouse. That's like the communication school. That's like what's known for journalism. And it was pretty intense, but it was like one of the best decisions ever.
That's so fire. And you guys have like a crazy alumni too, right?
We do. A lot of people wind up in the music industry and at ESPN. That's
that's the thing. Because my initial dream was like to be an ESPN like Sports Center anchor. So I was like, oh, Syracuse, like there's a pipeline there and all this stuff, all this research, but it was like way too far and like all that shit. It would have been fire.
It's cold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know, what do I know about uptown? Wait, that's like upstate, right? So it's like 2 hours from here.
When you say Syracuse, people always say it's upstate New York, but it's more central New York, but
Mm.
we just call it upstate anyway. Yeah, it's like the cold, like middle of nowhere type shit. But once you get there, it's lit. Like it's one of the most fun colleges ever. Like I
Mm.
don't regret it at all.
What's like a favorite memory from college, or like one that stands out?
All like the concerts that we used to get. We used to be able to see like Party Next Door for like $5, and then
Oh shit!
he would like party with us after.
And that's
Travis
like
Scott,
probably
everybody.
peak Party Next Door, right?
Yes, peak part,
Yeah.
and this is just like crazy timing. But the Migos, when they were like
Oh shit.
first, like they were everything. Like they were the soundtrack to. I'm not even talking
Yeah.
like Culture 3 era. We're talking about like Freak No More era. Like that era, we got to see them front row for like $5, and that was like there was so many other people like that where we just like our concert scene was like amazing. So that was definitely one of the best memories.
Wow. R.I.P. Takeoff. We gotta, it just happened. It's
Yeah.
still like kind of surreal.
I know, it's so crazy.
We'll get back to that. I don't want to bring the mood down too much, but what's like your I made it moment, or what was like your first I made it moment? Because I know as like a person in this, like they
It changes.
constantly happen. It's like it's this
Yeah.
one, and then it's this one. Then you forget about the one you did before and shit like that.
It changes.
What do you think was like your first like I made it moment?
Well, to speak to like the way you phrase the question, you know how you were like, oh, it happens, and the next one happens.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it was very fast paced because everything was happening for me really fast. I think it was like age 22 to 23 was like when everything was just happening for me, and it would be back to back to back. Like I'll be interviewing like Rihanna one week, and then the next week
shit.
I interviewed like 50 Cent and got the
Yeah.
picture and posted it. And
I
like,
remember seeing all that in
shit
real
like
time,
that.
being like, bro, Regi
yeah,
interviewed
that was
Rihanna.
really that was like I said, like my peak outsideness. I was just super active, and if you asked me this during that age, those were my I made it moments.
Yeah.
Like getting those really big interviews and doing, because I'm more of a writer, so publishing that article and rereading it back and be like, wait, I did like a really good job on this. I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
And also covering events and not letting the pressure get to me, and maintaining like my composure and being able to handle myself on like red carpets, shit like that. Those were like, I put that at the peak at that point in time. But now I'm like 26 now. I feel like I did a lot during that era, and I'm not like quitting journalism or anything like that. I'm not stopping. I love doing interviews still. That's my favorite thing to do. But like, I feel like my I made it moment is just kind of like it sounds corny, but it's like when people the impact, like when, even that's why I love doing Need to Know, the podcast, so much, because it's like we reach real people, and people DM us all the time about how we have helped them through hard times. We're like their friends. They tune in multiple times every week when they feel lonely. Like that type of stuff means more to me now than like the cool picture. I don't regret all the times that I've gotten my flex off on Instagram, dropping like a really fire ass picture, selfie with like Future or some shit. Like that really fulfilled me back then. But now, I guess the I made it moments are definitely more like wholesome shit. Like when my parents are proud, when my friends laugh at the podcast, like shit like that.
Yeah, I feel you 1,000% on that.
We were talking about it off camera. That's why I was like, let's save that for like this.
Yeah, because I feel the same way. Like at first, when I was first getting into the industry, it was similar. Like interviewing a big artist or whatever was like the peak of everything. I'm like, oh my God, I interviewed so and so.
And it wasn't for like superficial reasons. Like you really were proud of yourself.
Yeah, and just getting that access, like starting from zero, to be able to like be in a room where you think this person thinks that sharing this time with you is valuable enough to them. So I remember being like in a lot of those circumstances, and then fast forwarding to where like for like a year, probably this past year, I didn't interview not one person, maybe like 2, 3, 4 people. And I was just like, but I started like same thing like you, like doing my own podcast, like the Brown Bag. And
which
then
is
like,
doing amazing.
Thanks.
Like I keep up.
Appreciate it. And it becomes more about like, now I think just like the role changes a little bit, where it's like, yeah, you have this on your resume, and then now you're starting to like be like your own, I guess, like, I don't know, orbit or like a tree, and you're able to like, the same way maybe like interviewing Rihanna made you feel. It's like if you DM somebody that really looks up to you, now they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I talked to Regi. You know?
There's been moments like that, especially since I've been on camera more. Like
Yeah.
I've gotten like recognized, and that's weird for me because I'm not like I don't consider myself like a known person,
Yeah.
but people really are like, oh my God. And we threw a party and people just came like, they were like, I was so nervous to talk to you. But then I was like, what? Like, what the
That's
fuck?
crazy, right?
But then what you're describing, it makes me think of how much like things just change. Like our industry just changes so much. So it's like I'm delving more into just even like lifestyle things and like food, like shit like that. And it makes me think of, I saw y'all like follow each other. You know Tim Chantarangsu, formerly known as Timothy Delgado?
Yeah.
So he would talk about how he first made it as like, you know, rapper, YouTuber and stuff.
Yeah.
But then now he realized that like people just like him.
Yeah.
So whatever he does, like he has a food show, he has like podcasts, people just follow him. So I feel like we're kind of in that phase in our lives where we were just journalists and people respected, you know, our interviews and stuff like that. But now they want to tune into like your podcast. They want to tune into like your funny clips, and which is like, I like that because it's like, it's more of like, okay, this is like the long game for me. People, I just want to build my own brand. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And do you feel like, being that you're probably one of few like Korean Americans in this space, do you feel like a representative? Do other people hit you up and are like, hey, like, I'm so proud of what you're doing for us and stuff like that? Do you ever get messages like that?
I definitely get a lot of messages like that, especially from younger people and younger women, like younger Asian women. And that's always one of those, I would consider that one of the more meaningful, like, I made it moments rather than just like a really cool interview. And I think it's a very unique spot because there's a lot of like intersections of like people of color and like my culture and then hip hop that only a few of us can like understand. So I'm honored to like be able to speak about that. But then at the end of the day, like, I am proud, but it's more about like I'm always aware of like how I am a guest in the space, especially not just music, but specifically if we're talking about hip hop. I'm always a guest in the space. It was created by Black people. So like my mission is just to like help other people tell their stories so that their stories can spread and be inspirational. Like that's always just my mission at the end of the day, rather than being like, hey, look at me as like this only Korean American girl like at working at this place right now. And yeah.
That's dope. And then also like it can potentially create a pipeline. Yes. It can also potentially create like a pipeline for more like Asian Americans to like do what you're doing and stuff like that. That's kind of how I feel with like me. Like I never, like, I've obviously always been Mexican, right?
Oh, really?
but like I never, that was never part of like my social identity. At least I felt like I was just a LA journalist covering LA music. And it wasn't until like recently that I actually kind of like just leaned into it and started opening up about like my personal side and like my parents and my grandparents and just all that stuff. And I seen how much of an impact it made with people that look like me or feel like they relate to me. And I'm just like, wow, this whole time, you know, I didn't know that all these people are out there and looking at me like, you know, potentially like motivation, somewhere they want to be, shoes they want to like, you know, be in one day and stuff like that. And I was just like, wow, it's stuff that you have no idea that will happen when you're just trying to interview like rappers and shit. Right?
I mean, I guess that's really good because that's really genuine. Like you weren't, your mission wasn't to be like, I'm gonna be like the best Mexican like journalist from LA. Like that wasn't like you pursuing that. Like it just genuinely happened. So that's even better. Yeah.
I had no idea I was the only Mexican like
Are you the
journalist in LA hip hop? Like for a long time I was, yeah.
Oh really?
Until I was getting interviewed by Vice, and then shout out to the homie
Smooth Flex.
I know, Lil Flex. 2019 shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, that was the year for us. Like, yo.
2019 was a lit ass year. Yeah.
He's like,
I think that was the year I got fired from my job and then just said, fuck it, I'm gonna just do full time.
Oh my God, I love shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't love that you got fired, but like
I love that I got
like
fired.
it happened for a reason. Like it happened for a reason. Me too. Like I didn't get fired, but I was working at a radio station. I'm not gonna say who because like it's very obvious because there's only a few. But I was broke. I needed the money so bad, and I still quit. Like the student loans, post grad depression was hitting me, and I still quit because I was like, I can't. Like it doesn't feel right here. I feel really like stifled here, and that's when my freelance career I had to do it. So I definitely relate to people who quit their job, get fired, and then like blow up and shit.
Oh yeah, it wasn't meant for us to be there only until like that time, like just to hold us over. I feel like, so I worked at the bank for like so long, and I was afraid to leave until I had something steady, and then once I got fired, I was like, well, I have no choice. I was late every day. Obviously, it's kind of a pattern here.
Are you late?
I'm always late.
I didn't expect that from you because really?
Yeah.
Because you're so like, you're accomplished, you do a lot of different things. Like, I would assume that you're like a very Google Calendar type of person. Like,
oh, it's in Google Calendar, but like my Apple Maps,
it.
be lying to me, or maybe I just be like testing it constantly.
That's great. So it's even worse because in LA, I know about the traffic. So like, on top of that, you're also late with the traffic.
On top of that, yeah.
Because don't you have to leave like mad early? I always wonder how y'all do that. Like,
yeah, so like to get to, let's say, so I stay in Hollywood, so to get to downtown, which is like 20-minute drive, but to be safe, you should probably leave like 40 minutes just in case. But like I'll leave like 10 minutes before I have to be there, and then I'm like 30 minutes late.
Are you the late friend?
Yeah, I'm the late friend. But I'm also like,
I'm the opposite. I'm the early friend. I will never be late ever.
But I'm also like, aside from being late, like I'm super responsible with everything else.
That's what I'm saying. Like you seem responsible, so
it's just the time shit and me like what is time?
But that's like the main characteristic of being like responsible, like being on time though.
Yeah. But what is time anyway besides a social construct,
It's the time you told me that you'd be here. But do your friends ever say like, because the reason why, I don't hate my friends that are late. Like I don't. Like at this point, it's like whatever, you're living your own life. But it's like the thing with me is like, hey, you told me you'll be here. I feel like you're playing with my time. Do your friends say that to you?
No.
What? They don't say that?
No.
They just let you be late?
Yeah. So I feel like I make up for it in other ways,
That's true. Mm-hmm.
But I definitely, you know what? The hardest thing, like the only person who tells me about being late is my son's mom. She gets so mad at that. And then my son will too. My son is like super punctual. He'll be like 3:00. Dad, you said 3 and it's 3:05. And I'm just like, that's the one that gets to me. And I'm like,
I mean, 3:05 is fine. Even I don't complain about that.
It's not 3:05 though. It's usually
but if
like
you say, if it's like, if I'm gonna take you out to lunch at 1 and it's like 1:40, then I'll be like, Dad.
Yeah, like he'll call me before school and be like, hey Dad, what time are you picking me up today? And like, if I tell him a time, like I have to be on time. Because if not, he'll be like, Dad, you're late. Like, you told me this time. Like, he doesn't understand the concept of like not being somewhere when you said you were. Because he's like a kid. And then also like his mom is very punctual. So
no, kids are usually the opposite. They don't care. So I love that he cares.
He cares
so
I
love
much.
that.
He's so like timely. Yeah. So at least, second generation, breaking the curse, at least, My mom was always late though.
Are you into astrology?
Astrology? No, not really.
Okay, never mind.
I'm a Cancer, but that's all I know.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that.
That's all I know about that. I don't really look too much into it.
No, because I was going to guess your son's sign because Virgos are known for being like obsessed with being on time, but never mind. I'll probably
No, he's a Sagittarius.
Oh, okay. I love that. Okay, we can move on because I don't like when people aren't into astrology and I start talking about it, they hate it.
I only know a few signs. Because I've dated just like mostly Pisces.
Oh, I'm dating a Pisces.
Yeah, it didn't work out for me. But they were always in my life, and then I dated a Cancer one time. Terrible thing. I don't know how.
Wow, only
people date Cancers. Yeah, I don't know how they do it. I don't know. That's a whole different place I don't want to go down.
Yeah, that's why I was like, even I wasn't going all into that. I was like, okay, you're gonna talk about it.
I noticed that we're both fans of Jesus and Mero. Bodega Hive.
Still haven't. This is stupid, but I still haven't changed my wallpaper.
Wow, that's fine. That's crazy. I didn't even. Wow.
It's me and Jesus and Mero.
That's super dope. I had no idea that was there. But I want to talk about it because I don't know too many people. Being that I'm on the West Coast and it's like an East Coast thing mostly, I don't know too many people that like are in Bodega Hive, and I haven't spoken to anybody about the breakup of them since. So I kind of want to get your take on it. How do you feel about it? How did you feel? Where were you when you found out?
Yo, I was coming home from something. I remember because as soon as I found out, I do what any millennial does. I tweeted about it. So I remember typing on like the train or the Uber, whatever I was like, yo, this is the craziest moment of my entire life. Like, I I never thought it would happen. Like if you were
Yeah.
there from day one, Bodega Boys, like the podcast, not their
Yeah.
fancy ass show. Like they're just best friends that just wound up, having like a great thing. And at first I didn't believe it because I'm someone who, when people like post things in our group chat, like, oh, this breakup, this person's pregnant, whatever, I don't believe it. I just always check first. So I
Check
didn't
for
believe.
sources.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I didn't believe it at first, and then once I saw it was like dead ass confirmed, I don't know. Like I've already talked about this when it happened. And I still don't know what's the process. But I hope it was. What's the word? Amicable? Is that how you say amicable? I hope it was like no bad blood. But since it was so sudden, I'm assuming there were some things that obviously this wasn't planned.
Yeah.
I'm just sad because they just had such a beautiful thing that only fans understand. Like their humor, the way they bounce off each other. Like, now I'm getting sad. Okay, so what are let your takes off, because you said you weren't able to like talk about it.
Yeah. Well, do you think it was actually? So you said you think it was amicable. You don't think that?
I hoped it was.
In
I don't
true
know.
Bodega Boys fashion, you don't think they should have like at least shot the fair one, just like as like that's how I would hope that they would break up in the style of fashion, like
What?
just at least like throw hands a little bit,
Oh, maybe they did. I don't know.
I feel
but
like
they both have bags now. They both have like deals, money, all that. So they might not have made that
not
public.
like hurt each other, but just like like
just fight it out.
Because
they're two dudes from the Bronx.
That's
so
what
like,
I'm saying.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like
I'm
they're
saying
hilarious,
it might,
but they're not about. They're like they don't play.
Yeah, they're like
same
from
time.
the streets for real. But like, so I'm saying it might have happened.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't like document it and shit.
No,
like,
no, they wouldn't. I don't think they would. Yeah.
Maybe they did, but I don't know. Like, what could have happened that they walked away from something that was so amazing? Like, they have their own show. They broke barriers. They were interviewing like Denzel Washington, Obama, and shit.
I know,
like,
they went out on top. They interviewed Jeter. Was that their last interview?
I think so, because I remember reminiscing.
Most, like crazy way they could go out.
Yeah,
to interview
and now that's like the last
off.
video on like their fucking.
Yeah, to interview Derek Jeter, lifelong Yankee fans.
Yes,
like,
and they
from
were
the Bronx.
Yo, you
like,
for real? Yeah, you really like.
I'm like, how did that? And that interview was so fire. Like, I'm a huge. See, that was like
they did really good.
Such a like merging of my interests, because I'm like a huge baseball fan. Derek Jeter's my favorite.
Are you like a
baseball
Yankee
player.
fan?
No.
Oh yeah, because I'm like you're not a Yankee
Dodger
fan.
fan. But I was like always a fan of Jeter. We
Yeah.
almost have the same birthday. His birthday's one day before mine.
Cancer King.
I always played shortstop. I always wanted to be like Jeter.
Aww.
And so then them doing the interview and then seeing Jeter like in a cool ass way, like
yeah, no, but that's their signature.
Down,
that's their signature. Like
shit.
like he'll talk about like his like complain about his mom and shit. Like yeah.
And then like
that's their style.
That was the last show that, I mean, at least they went out on top. But I mean, I was super sad. I seen it. I was like, nah, no way. And then it's like, the thing is that like you hear that they break up, and then you want to hear a pod about them talking about the breakup.
Yeah,
but it doesn't exist.
They didn't. They just cancel everything.
Everything is gone.
Bro,
and I'm like looking like, I'm like, okay, like Jesus gonna do what he did, the Tonight Show or Jimmy Kimmel, I forgot.
He did, one major late night thing.
He did that, so I watched that. I saw the whole thing, but there was no reference to it. Meryl was kind of talking about it on like a call
on like Twitch or something.
Yeah, like and then it's just like they weren't gonna give no juicy details or anything.
Yeah, I think Meryl, on the thing you're talking about, I think he was saying like, oh, people grow apart.
Yeah,
like we had a beautiful thing, like so, like shit like that. Yeah.
And I think like it could be that they were living like very different lifestyles. Like I feel like Meryl is so much more like family man and stuff like that. Deez is kind of like more into like the entertainment space, probably like meeting a lot more people, and just they probably just drifted apart. And it's sad that it happens, but
have you ever had a
falling out? Actually, I haven't. Like with business partners or nothing like that, or like homies that like I did shit with. No, I've been fortunate that I haven't. Since like I've known Callie and like Swift, we met in like 2014. Yeah, when none of us had.
That's almost a decade ago.
None of us had shit. None of us had like any type of name, clout, money, like nothing. And we just met and like just slowly built a relationship. We're all from like the same city, so that was kind of just like our common thing. And then we've been good ever since. We've been to fucking where we've been to New York. We've been to Puerto Rico. We've been to so many places together. Traveled all over the place. Everybody's like fucked up somehow. We all like go through. You know, everybody's made their mistakes in little ways. Like, but no, we're still here. You know.
I love that for you.
Yeah. So.
I don't have. Not that I have real life friends, but in terms of the industry, I'm kind of like thinking about it now. Like I've always kind of done my own thing being a freelancer. So I don't really have like a business partner and I don't work directly for an outlet. Like most of my pieces like in my career, I feel like have been for like Billboard and stuff, but I don't have like a best friend at Billboard and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a lone wolf.
It's all good. Well, how did you get on the Need to Know then? Explain this. Because they were doing it before you.
Yeah, they were doing it for years. Like I think like about 2 years before me and Dev joined.
Yeah.
So Savon, one of the founders, it's Savon and Alex. So Savon noticed my work, like genuinely like saw an article of mine and was like, whoa, like I like her work. Started following me for a few months and then we linked up. We did something like this. Like he did like a one-on-one Need to Know type of shit. And then we just kept in contact. And then their third co-host, her name is Steph. Like she, you know, she left the pod. It was amicable. Like they did a reflection episode. Like it's all good. And they needed like a new co-host. And he just like called me. He was like, hey, this is like a big thing to ask, but would you want to be like the new co-host? And I was like, oh shit. I mean, I guess. Like I didn't have a pod before then, but then I had a goal that year to like be on camera more and like do more shit. And I was like, fuck it, why not? And then it just has blossomed into something like amazing. It was supposed to just be me. And then Devon Terrell was like engineering. Like he was like sitting right there. And then he was like, he just like has so many good opinions. So then he joined and now it's the four of us. And I've never like had anything like this where it's just like strictly my personality. Like we're not always interviewing people. We're not always talking about pop culture. We're talking about like, I'm talking about like my relationship, my parents, and to be able to connect with people like that is definitely like a new thing in my life. It's only been like a year and a half, but it's definitely been one of the most rewarding things. And I'm sure you could relate because
literally I feel like it's like spitting image like with my, you know, brown bag stuff. But that's so dope because I do remember watching that podcast and then seeing like I was aware of the podcast before because of like Save On. I've like knew about him because like Joe Budden, you know, and Alex and stuff. So and then I seen you joined it, or I seen that like you were on there, and I was like, oh cool, like I'm gonna tap in and watch the episode. And then like you stuck around, I was like, oh sick, like you know, like she's on it now.
Was it what the episode you watched? Was it the four of us, or was it the one just me and Savon?
I think it was the four.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was a funny episode.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. And I just seen the growth. I seen you guys had that party and stuff. Like I thought that was super fire.
Yeah, you didn't pull up, but it's okay.
Oh, I know. I feel like I was.
I guess because you live across the country, it's fine.
No, but I felt like I was planning on coming around then because I was like, you were talking about it, right? I think
I posted something and then you like were like, yo, I want to like come,
I think I was considering like coming out here just to kind of do what I'm doing now, but when was that, like
in the summer?
In the summer, yeah. Didn't end up happening, but no, I saw it went up. That's super fire. What else was I gonna say? There's another thing.
Your flash is on.
Oh shit. Oh, what's your favorite Larry June flex bar?
Yo, okay. Oh my God, I was gonna bring this up at the beginning of the pod. So I know, you know, you guys may not know, but he's from the West Coast.
Yeah.
You guys didn't know. No, I'm kidding. So, you know, when you were on Armand's podcast, Nick was like, let me bring out my most West Coast shit.
Yeah.
So I found anything I could find. My Larry June merch, the organic T-shirt.
I noticed that.
See it. I know he's not from LA, but like he's
we
like
fuck with him heavy in LA.
He's the epitome of like West Coast vibes. So, wait, what's my favorite bar?
Yeah, you have like you know how he's like.
Oh, I like it I like the beginning of his songs where he just flexes about like the most random shit. He'll be like, yeah, this orange juice is fresh squeezed. You don't know nothing about that. And then he'll be like, bitch, don't worry about me. Worry about that back tooth. Like he's like so like, he'll be like, bitch, don't check for me. Check the air quality. Like he's like so, but he's dead ass. Like he's so serious. So I like the beginning of his records for sure. But I like how random his bars are. Like he'll flex like the most random shit. So yeah, I don't have like one favorite bar, but I just like his style in general. How he's like he's kind of funny, but he's not like trying to be funny. He's just dead ass like that.
Yeah, he's really like that. Yeah, he's been like that. I interviewed him like 2017, And
Oh, that's a while ago.
yeah, and I remember he said at the time that he was gonna start driving Lyft.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
He was like, "I'm gonna start driving Lyft," and I was like, "Are you like?" But he just saying it, and I'm just like,
No.
I was
He
like, "That's
actually
funny."
did it. I think
he did it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a few years later there was an interview that came out that talked about how he made like mad money, like 6 figures and plus, and that he was still driving Lyft. So I love that. He seems humble. Yeah, I think that's why I like him. Yeah, he
super
seems
humble.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was saying that he was gonna drive Lyft just to do it, just to meet people. He's very much about like motivation. He would tell me, I'm like, how do you stay motivated? He was like, man, sometimes I just, don't go to the studio for 2 weeks. I just like ride my bike on the beach and like.
I love that.
Yeah, like, yeah, I'm just like, wow. And like, just all this shit, like, he's like, sometimes just squeeze my own orange juice in the morning. Like,
Right. No, and he's dead ass. He'll talk about like smoothies.
yeah, and he's dead ass serious.
I think now that I'm thinking about it, I think that's why I'm very gravitated towards like him. Like, I think it's his vibe because as we get older, I think I've always been like a positive person, but the things that he values is really like, hey, let's just take a drive. Let's just do some yoga. Like, and he's so serious about it. He's like, let's just live in the moment. And that's why, like, out of all my friends, I would definitely say, like, I'm probably like the biggest Larry June fan. But I'm on the East Coast, so there's not like, he's big on the East Coast, but I'm sure like in California, everybody's a Larry June fan.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Good job, Reggie. But yeah, I mean, what else do you have to anything to plug before we get out of here?
Oh my God, that was so quick.
I know, so I was late. I'm sorry.
I don't know, not really, because as we talked about, I ain't been doing shit. No, I'm kidding.
Where the people could follow you and everything.
Okay, so listen to the Need to Know podcast. If you like the vibe of his podcast, we're like kind of a similar type of like group chat type of funny
it's like
shit.
A group chat,
oh my God, the last episode, you guys' Halloween episode, that shit was so funny. Like that shit was so and I love it because like that's why these podcasts work, because it's like friends. Like you're just talking as friends and you guys were just laughing. I was laughing at you guys laughing. Like that. Our podcast is like a little similar to that.
Yeah.
Need to Know Pod. Follow me everywhere. We said at the beginning of the pod, it's just Regi_Nacho. That's me everywhere. And I write articles. I'm a journalist. Keep up with my work. And yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yay.
Hell yeah.
Oh shit. Wow. Look at drop.
Mic drop.
Mic drop.
Regi, Rosecrans Vic podcast. We out. Fire. How long was that? Was that like? It was like almost an hour.